Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about ESG. I request all of our student, you can open your camera. ESG actually very important factors. It help you to enhance your financial capacity. Challenge facing the world today: population growth, 7.8 billion people today, unexpected 9.8 billion by 2050. Demand for the food and energy, pressures on scarce resources, negative environment impact. Climate change, like to fossil fuels and tropical deforestation, CO2 rising 10 times faster than any sustainable rise in the 100,000 years. Deforestation for commodities: soy, palm oil, beef, timer. Human intrusions, biodiversity hotspot disruptions, and disruption economy degraded. Consumption and production: increasing demand for animal proteins. Health and well-being: ensure health lives, combat communicables and diseases. Climate change. GHG concentration happening 10 times faster than any sustainable rise in CO2 during past 800,000 years. We need to sustainable GHG concentration to prevent dangerous anthropologist interactions with the climate system. We must listen to the art-based scientists. Climate change moving faster than we are. Staying below 1.5 degrees Celsius require rapid, far-reaching, and unprecedented changes to all aspects of the society. Can you please open your camera, Nicholas and Raisa, as well as Apollo? What does ESG mean? The limitation of traditional financial analysis: environment, air and water pollution, waste management, energy efficiency, CO2 emissions; social, customer privacy, labor health and health safety, training and development, product safety, governance, leadership, executive pay, shareholder right, audit and internal control. Spectrums of capital: negative screening, value investing, risk frameworks to protect values, positive screening, sustainable winner, positive screening, impact leaders, impact, sustainable, ESG, ethical and traditional. Impact investment: why not? Global warming, pollution and waste, biodiversity loss, inequality, poverty, gender inequality and health issue. Impact investing: apply impact definition criteria to listen equity, international additional material and measurability. Growth awareness of impact investment will require mutual fund manager to think creativity about how to select and manage publicly traded companies for positive impact. Why does ESG matter? Regulation, climate change, consumer preference, financial return. Exponential growth in ESG regulation turning increase towards investors. Imminent introductions of the EU regulation framework, mainstream sustainable risk and director capabilities towards sustainable opportunity, action plan on sustainable finance, reorientation capital flow towards sustainable investment, mainstreaming sustainable risk into risk management, foster transparency and long-termisms in makers, renewable sustainable finance strategy, strengthen the foundation of sustainable finance, increase opportunity for sustainable finance, reduce and eliminating climate and environment risk. Why does ESG matter? Regulation, climate change, consumption preference, and financial returns. All five risks are environment. 2015 to 2020, we are observing extreme weathers, climate action failures, inventory regulation, failure of national governance, climate action failures, even though climate action failures. So these are the many important aspects actually happening. Climbing interest in sustainable investing. 95% of the millennials are interested. How increase are use sustainable investing, which is the practice of making investment in companies or fund which aims to achieve market rate, financial return, which pursue positive social and or environmental impact. What does ESG matter? Regulation, climate change, consumer preference, and financial return. High sustainable can lead to higher return over the long terms. In 2015, academic and analyzed more than 2,000 students and found that in regularly 90% of the students, companies were strong ESG profile had equals or better financial platform than their non-ESG counterparts. Signing to the PR blueprint for responsible investing. Six internationally recognized principle, independent assessment of commitment, committee to incorporation ESG factor into investment decision making, yearly reporting cycling, 13 reporting modules, starting with organization overflow strategy and governance, climate change. ESG is the future, not a fad. ESG is not equals to ethicals. ESG is a process, not a type of fund. ESG support better environment investment decision making. UNPRI score 2019 continuing engagement with client and issue is the key. ESG interesting key milestone. ESG incorporation, active ESG engagement, ESG workshop equity and fixed income, deep dive ESG research, ESG engagement framework, ESG dashboard. Our approach to ESG investment, comprehensive ESG investment and dedication ESG range, ESG integration into our mainstream funds across all asset class. We offer an M&J ESG labels family of fund. Delivering ESG integration. ESG integration is underpins by three core pillars of activity: research integration, engagement, ESG portfolio review. M&G climate policy alignments with the Paris Agreement. At the FTSE 100 companies and as a long-term asset owners and asset managers, M&G PLC has a responsibility to our customer and to wide society to invest in which ensure a sustainable future, including tracking climate change and enabling a transition to a low-carbon economy. M&G public commitments: net zero in the business operation by 2030, net zero investment by 2050. Climate change approach, portfolio mapping, identify M&G high carbon exposure, high carbon emissions, largest M&G wide exposure, access to management, risk assessment, evaluation the risk present by this exposure, assessment transaction risk and the physical risk, evaluation company effective management of the risk, engagement plan, structure plan for engaging with identify risk exposure, engagement program focused on both bilateral and collaborative climate voting, integrated of the climate change into M&G core voting policy, using shareholder resolutions and director elections as levers for accountability. ESG product framework, research, stewardships and sustainability and investment analysis. These are the very important aspects of the development that we have to be very much smart about the climate change, and we need to bring the opportunities for the climate change. So climate change actually real. There are a lot of challenges for the climate change. And most important thing is that we need to be very much careful about climate change. I request all of our students, I finished one of the lectures about climate change. Can you give me an explanation what does climate ESG means to you? Apollo. Tony?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What you understand about ESG?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I just came in now. I'm a bit late.
Okay. Judas, Raisa, Nikas. What is your idea about ESG?
Sure. Your line is a bit, it's like I can hardly hear. I'm.
So now I share some of the research work, research report about IELTS. Maybe it will be helpful for your understanding and it will be very much effective for your understanding. I request everyone, please open your camera. I request everyone, please open your camera. This is one of the research report of IELTS, VEO IELTS project report, which specific features of candidate talk do examine orientation to when talking scoring decision. Abstract. We use an app to develop a new way of finding out what examination notice when they give graduate to the student in speaking test of English. That means we can better understand how examines give marks, which can help with training examination. The research investigate which specific features of candidate talks, IELTS speaking test, examiner orientation to when talking scoring decisions. We also research whether the use of this scoring scheme and customized app potentially adds any value to IST examiners a development. This was enabled by the development of the IST scoring scheme for an app, which create a scoring recording of when exactly is the test of the examination have notice specific. Features of candidate talk and take specific decisions on scoring. As a result, each of four IELTS examination independently view two tests void using the app and scoring it using the score tags. We then conduct individual simulation recall interview with the examination involved. We found the use of customized IELTS score scheme and VO app illuminates the IST rating process and potentially adds significant value of IST examination development. Specifically, the recertification process, when examined assign higher score, they focus on positive evidence, whether the lower scores, they focus on negative evidence. Fluency and coherence scores are mostly assigned cumulatively. Grammar scores can be more easily tagged into relation to specific features. Examine notice idioms and reward their use with a high mark, even if not delivered perfectly. Examiners form hypotheses as they listen to the candidate talk, then look for evidence and that will confirm and reject this hypothesis. Examination makes scoring decision is a cumulative way rather than orientation towards single instant pronunciations. Issue may influence examiner decision in relations to other criteria. So this is some of the research. I always request to my students do some real research as well as do some study. Especially, I request everyone please focus on reading, writing, listening, and spoken. So anybody want to share something about today's session from my student? Apollo, Tuilika, Yudas, Raisa?
I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here.
Yes. What you want to share about today's session? What is your improvement about? I want to know the improvement of communication.
Hello, good day.
Yes.
How are you, ma'am?
Okay. So can you share about IELTS? What you learn about IELTS? What you know about IELTS or communication process?
Seems like I'm not hearing you well.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining today's session. Uh, Thank you. Bye bye and take care.
Uh, Sir,
Yes.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes.
I'm a new participant,
Okay. Very
and
good.
I just wanted to tell you that I did the IELTS exam
Very good.
and I scored 6.5, not 7. So I don't know
Okay.
if there's something you could do with that.
Okay. Very good. 6.5 overall.
Yeah, yes,
Can you send me your score as well as your CV? Those who do not send me your CV with through the collated lab, you can send your CV, your certificates, and your IELTS score.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. That is good. That is good. I'm really happy about that. So I request everyone, please send your CV, and here is my email address, and definitely you can press it. Definitely we're going to support you in the private chat. I share my uh, email address, so you can share your CV, as well as we will do some research how we can work together, how we can improve together, how we can do some sort of contribution. So anybody want to share any other things? Anybody want to share anything about today's session? Do you have any question?
No, seems like my network is bad. I'm trying to connect.
Okay. Thank you, and bye bye, and take care. See you tomorrow.
All right, ma'am.
Thank you for that presentation.
Thank you.
Oh my God.